See how many people we got now. 3. Come on, guys. Get on in there. You should have an open place now for submitting today.
Lab 2 and copy the ULR and submit it?
Fork it first.
Oh.
So, and then that should give you a new URL. That way you'll have one for last time and one for this time. And if you click here, it'll open it in Code Jam for you. There you go. I don't know. Click it again. Add it on Code Jam.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah, so then since this is yours, you can hit fork, and now you'll have a new copy. And then if you want to be really nice on us, you can edit the title up top, maybe say Lab 3.
Yeah.
That way we never make a mistake. Yeah. Hey. Hello. Layla, I don't think we got your stuff. I remember.
Yeah. This is the first time. It was the first time that I used this page, this program.
Yeah.
And I wasn't 2 weeks ago, and I didn't know how can I find my assignment. I've searched at the
Like Blackboard?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
All right.
after that, I find my grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I was in the shock.
All right.
And tomorrow, after we had a class, I sent this one for you.
Yeah, it must have been
But
past the.
because I
Right.
didn't have your email address, and I have to put that here.
Okay.
And
Let me take a look at it. I will take another look at it. Just be careful from now on.
Yeah.
So it always runs the same. So every week is the exact same.
Oh,
We
really?
always submit at the start of the class, and there's always feedback 2 days later, and then one more feedback the day before, and then we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So now that you got it,
yeah, but
you'll be in good shape.
sorry for.
No trouble, no trouble. I'm glad you mentioned it for me. So then let's get you logged in first up. So go ahead and log into your CodePen account so that you can make a fork and submit for today. So, hey. Oh yeah, I was looking at this. Oh, sorry, my. Oh, my.
What do you want? Do you want to sit or
What you got?
do you want to sit? Because you said
Do I
we'll
need one?
do this together.
Oh yeah, we'll do it all together.
All right.
So we'll do the online debugging stuff.
So shall I submit? Because this one is submitted, I guess.
Yeah. So go ahead and submit for today.
So fork?
Yep, fork. And you notice it gives you a slightly different URL there. So then if you copy that, and then up in there and go to Lab 3. Go to Lab 3 on Leaflet. Yeah, so there you go. Go down to 3.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there you go. And then you should be able to submit in there. Perfect. And then you're in. And then the little, yeah, so that's what I was saying. Because we didn't actually have a Lab 3, the system said, oh, no entries, and it just flunked everybody. I got to do something about that, but I never was sick before, so it never came up. So what will happen is when you get your first feedback, then they'll give you like the proper grade. Then you have like during the week to implement any kind of feedback that they're suggesting, and then they look at it one more time before the next lab and upgrade your grade again.
all right. Thank
All right?
you.
Okay, and you guys are all good? Yep. All right. Hey.
See that? It's missing.
Say that again. So we're basically submitting for Lab 3 right now. So whatever you did for Lab 2, go ahead and make a fork of that. And then that's where you're going to submit for Lab 3 today. Yeah. So just to review, guys, because we did have that 1 week off when I was sick, you are essentially going to take your work from Lab 2, fork it, and then you'll be submitting that fork for Lab 3. So this way we just keep your project moving forward here. So here's how you could do it. If you are wondering, you can always go into your Lab 2 here. So let's say, for instance, with Annika here. If she clicks on the feedback area, see how you've always got this edit on CodePen link here? And if you click it, that's what you did for Lab 2. You know what I mean? So then from here, you could hit the fork, boop, which would make a new copy, and now you can submit that URL. This is looking good, huh? I like this guy. So I saw a lot of people were interested to do some stuff with images. So we're going to get into that. And I'm going to show you a little trick that you can use because the image tag, it's a very old tag in HTML. It was like one of the first additional things that was added to HTML after, basic text. As a result, it doesn't really have a whole lot of options in it. You can set a width and height, but that's about all you can do. And you've probably been realizing like setting explicit width and height can often break responsive. Typically, we want to set width and height with things like percentages and so forth. So I'm going to show you a little technique that you can use that uses the background property instead of the image tag. And then there's just a couple more things we need to know if we're going to use that. One of them being like for accessibility, how we make the thing accessible, because a background image won't really, show up in a screen reader or something like that. So we need a way of making sure that we're not breaking accessibility as we're doing this thing. So I thought maybe a good place to do it would be the little logo that I'm doing inside of my responsive navigation there. I saw a lot of people using a little image tag inside of there. So this technique will allow you to make the best use of the space, keep it pretty responsive, and not get the aspect ratio of your image skewed as well, right? So why don't we dive on in? I'm going to pick it up where I was previously. So in Lab 3, if you want to follow along with my shared session, the little green link right up top here will do it. So why don't I dive into there? And this is kind of where I was at. Now I had given you guys a little challenge, which was to try and make a 2-column in the body area down here. So I'll also show how I would do that. There's a few ways you could do it, but I'll show you using the Flexbox, which is probably the best tool for responsive purposes. Okay, so let's begin here. So I'm looking at this Whole Foods right over here in the top left, and I'm thinking that I would want to turn that into like some kind of an image. It could be an icon or something like that. So I think the first thing I'll do probably is go looking for a little image here. So Whole Foods logo, and I'm actually going to search for a PNG because you probably figured out in some of your other classes like a PNG will preserve the transparency of the background, so it's probably better than using like a JPEG or something. So let's see, maybe this one. This looks pretty good. So this is a PNG, but it doesn't look like they kept the transparency in the background. See that? So if I drop that in there, it's gonna like put this like white border around the edge. Let's see what else I can get. Come on. Give me a PNG. Let me try this one. Hey, here we go. So let's see, it's 468 by 468, which is a little bit large if we're just doing a little logo, but whatever, I'll use it for now. No, these are raster. If we want to do a vector one, then we would probably use an SVG. Yeah, which would be, actually, I should show you guys that because that'd be pretty nice. Say that again.
All the browsers can read the SVG.
Yes, SVG actually goes back a long time. It came out, it was actually what came out before Flash. So it's actually been in the browsers for, you know, a long time. It's actually, but it's getting popular again. A lot of stuff has become popular again, like GIFs, animated GIFs, or GIFs if you're one of those people. But I say GIF, you know, like they were dead for a long, long time, but it's coming back again because the emphasis now is not on using plugins like Flash. Actually, did you guys hear, just while we're on the topic, just this week, Adobe announced that they are discontinuing Flash. Can you believe it? Like, I think our last Flash project we did in 2011, and that was the last time someone asked us to do Flash. But it's you know, a lot of stuff out there runs on Flash, and it was super popular. If you're ever interested, I'll show you another little resource here. If you guys know Anchor FM, our show Tech Drops, the last one was about Flash. So if you guys want to like listen in, hear me talk a little bit about the good old days of Flash, then it's up there.
When ActionScript was the standard.
Yeah. Action, even now, the stuff that is appearing in JavaScript, like the stuff I'll be showing you guys, is actually very similar to what Flash was doing. So learning it was not a bad thing. It's just taking a while for the rest of the web to catch up. Yeah, definitely. If what we're doing works, then you should be able to drop anything in there, and it'll take its proper position in space. So yeah. So let me grab this one. Now this will work better if the image you're using is fairly square. If it's not, you can still use it, but you'll see that you know, you might have some borders and stuff or some cropping around the edges. So if you can have something roughly square, this will work pretty good. So I'm going to grab this, and then I'm going to head back into my code here. And I'm going to start replacing this little Whole Foods up here. So one way you could go would be to just like drop an image tag in here. So let's say if I got rid of this H3 and I swapped it for an image, and I put a source property in there, drop in my URL, well, you see my problem, right? Like it's massive. So I can, you know, I can start messing with some of the attributes here. Yes, so I did a little source include. Now we're not going to stick with this technique because there's a better way to do this, but this kind of shows us like what the problem is here. So now I'm having to get into, you know, writing these attributes in here, and I can get it back to the size that I want, but there's a better way we can do this. Because what if I decide that I want to change the size of the thing? Or what if I need it to resize when the browser resizes? There's lots of cases where we're going to need that. So we're going to change this up a bit. I'm going to get rid of this image tag here. And I'm just going to replace it with a div, just like this. Just a plain old empty div. But I'm going to give it one more attribute called an ID. And I think you guys have used IDs before. But the special thing about the ID attribute is that you can only use it once in the page that you are working on. So you'll see that you use two things a lot, IDs and classes. The difference is a class can be used as many times as you want. So if you have maybe a list of items and you want them to all have the same style, this is a good place to use a class. But I want to have only one logo in my page. And it's specifically locked to the top left here, so an ID is probably a good idea. All right. Now, before we go too far, in my menu here, I should probably make a couple little changes. I'll show you why. Because like, I want to use this div for my logo now. But you notice down here, I have some styling applied to just the general div, which means that like every div in here is going to pick up that styling. So before I go further, I should probably be a little bit more specific with my selector here. So I'm going to say only divs in the nav should pick up this padding option here. You see what I mean there? Like, because now that I'm getting further down the page, if I want to put more divs in there, and I definitely will, they're going to automatically pick up this styling that I've done. So what I'm doing is saying, okay, be more specific. Only divs that are inside the nav should pick up this style. So probably a good idea to do. All right. So now let's do something with this little blank div that we've put up here. So you guys remember how we create a selector for an ID? What character do we use in our CSS to identify an ID? Pound. Yeah, there you go. So let's target this by its, whoops, logo, not ID. There we go. All right. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set the background property like this. Now you guys might, you've probably used this to like make a repeating background or maybe just to set a color for a background. But backgrounds, like, they actually are one of the most versatile things you've got inside of CSS. Did you know, like, you can do multi-layered backgrounds? Yeah, you can stack them up just like Photoshop layers. You can also offset them. You can change their position. They have properties that you can set which will make them expand to fit whatever container they are in. All kinds of cool stuff. You can even apply like CSS transforms on them to like turn them and skew them and all kinds of stuff. So let's use a couple of the simple properties and you'll see right away how nicely this works. So let's go URL, and here's where I'm going to drop in that image that I found. So let me grab this and put it in there, right in here. Burp. Okay. So right now we don't see anything, because like technically a background is not content. So a container like a div, if it has no content, it's 0, 0. Its width and height are 0. So yeah, so we have to force it open a little bit somehow. So let's add a couple more properties on here. Don't forget your semicolon. You're still going to need that. But let's throw another property on here. Let's say width 54 pixels maybe? This is up to you. The reason I'm using 54, anybody know? I'm specifically using 54 because that's the minimum recommended height for tapping. So this comes from like the Google design docs. So you'll probably memorize some things like that. That means that if I want to make this a clickable link, then it will at least be large enough for tap interface. But we still don't see anything. Everybody know why? I can sketch it. Let me show you. Where's my... Here's why. Here's my little 54 by 54 pixel space.
The image is larger and
That's it. That's it. Here's my image. Oh my God. If someone makes a marker that doesn't dry out, they're going to make $1 billion. Here we go. So here's my image, right? And it's like this. So we're basically seeing all the transparent pixels in there. So this is where the extra properties that we get with the background come in. Let's do this. Yep. I heard somebody mentioning it. So we got background, position. So this will help us see something. Center. Okay, okay. And then what else could we do? The other property that's probably useful here is the background size. And you got two options here. So this one is cover, and you can see that's looking pretty good, right? Yeah. So background size cover is the one that you would most often use. It will make the image fit inside whatever container that you've given. Yeah, and it'll keep the aspect ratio preserved. The other one that you've got that you can use is called contain. So here we don't really see a big difference because this is a square image. But if your image was, you know, maybe taller or wider, you might see a little bit of black bars around the edge here. So typically, I will always use cover. Yeah. Ah, so here's another one you could put in there. Background, repeat, no repeat. Try that one. I think that should take care of that for you. So by default, because, you know, background images were intended for filling up your whole background of your page, they automatically repeat, so they tile. But usually you'll just turn that off if you're doing this kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, shoot me a link. Let's do it. Double check your email and do a search for CodePen, and maybe it went into your spam folder. No. You're gonna have to fix that because, like, otherwise no one else can see what we're doing. Anybody wants to do a quick debug here? Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. Shoot me a lick. All right. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, did you save it, Samantha? Give it a quick save and I'll refresh. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, let's see here. Let me refresh again. Did you send me the right link here, Samantha? Is it saved? Oh, okay. So are you attempting to put an image in here?
Yes.
That's what we're after? Okay. All right. So let's give it a try then. So we got an H3 right here. So the first thing we do is we get rid of that. We'll just put a regular little div in here. Just like that. And we can put an ID in there. Just like this. So that's going to let us target the ID over here. Let's see. Okay, so we do have an image here. That looks pretty good. Oh, this is missing a semicolon. I think that's what's up. Right after this. Yeah. Ah, there we go. That should get you working. No problem. And then while we're here, why don't we get rid of that background repeating? So we'll go background, repeat, no repeat. There you go. No problem. All right, let's take a look. So let's see, we've got Andgrams. Andgrams is up next. Who's Andgrams? Let's take a look. So what seems to be the trouble? This is looking pretty good. Oh, too small? Okay. We should be able to bump that up. Let's see. What if we do this? Does this make a difference? Oh, typo. This looks like a typo. There we go. Ah, there we go. Easy. Hey, this is looking sweet. My God, this is nice. I haven't seen it before. I think maybe, is it Devin who's? Adam? Oh, yeah. Adam's awesome. All right, great. This is looking good. Anybody else? Let's see. We got Enika. Enika. Were you able to get in there? All right, good, good. And now I'll be able to help anything you want forever. All right, let's take a look here. So, are we looking to insert an image on the left like I'm doing? Let's give it a try. So we got the all you can order. So, you know what? We can keep that. There's no reason we have to get rid of that. Because with the Flexbox, it'll just like insert anything else we do right into here and put your spacing in for you. So why don't we put in something extra here. And we'll make a div. We'll give it an ID. Close it out here. And then let's see, do we have any CSS for logo? All right, let's add some logo action in here. Yeah, this is good. And then one more thing I was thinking about. How's that? There's logo? Sorry, which line did you say? 24? Did you save? Save. And I'll refresh. And then I should see it. Okay, let me try this again. Reload. Now let me look for that. There it is. Okay, great. Cool, okay. This looks good. Now, one thing I will mention while I'm here, guys, and keep an eye out for this, because you notice the image being used here starts with HTTP. If you can, always use one that starts with HTTPS, because this is like a secure path. Otherwise, what will happen is, if you come back in a couple of days, you may not see the image anymore. The browser will start blocking it, because it will say, oh, you're working at a secure location, but using an insecure image. So it's really messed up, because like at first it'll work, but browsers have these built-in security behaviors, and they'll let it go for a little while, but then they'll stop it. It's the worst, because you get something really nice looking, and then as soon as you're going to show it to somebody, suddenly your images are gone. So be careful on that one. So this looks good. Oh, I do see one typo in your HTML. You've got Lego. I like Lego as well, but there you go. Yeah, that's the only thing. Other than that, you're good. Let's see if we got anybody else on the helpline here. You're all okay there, Annika? Okay, cool. Let's take a look at Rashid. Rashid. Well, it's a big bucket. Yep. So let's see if we can figure out why. I'm just going to close a couple of tabs so I don't... But I like what I'm seeing here, guys. I mean, you get these responsive and adaptive skills down. By the time you hit like third semester or fourth semester, you'll be killing it. Okay, let's see. Ah, yes. Okay. So this is the technique we are developing here today. So instead of using an image tag here, what we'll do is use something like a div and give it a ID, something we can select it with. So I was calling it logo, just like this, and then we close it out. So the div itself has nothing in it. It doesn't really do anything. But then that allows us, over here in our CSS, to, let me just make sure it's not in here already. Yeah, so in our CSS here, we can make a selector for the logo using that ID we gave it. And then we can actually, instead of using an image tag, we can use a background property. So if I copy your paint can here, bring it on over in here, just like that. Great, make sure I got a semicolon on there. And now I think if I just remove this, what am I missing? Does anybody see it? I've got my ID, and it is closed. This is the right spelling. And then I've got my background. Oh, down here somewhere? Oh, okay. So then let me change this up a bit. Let me make this image instead. Background. I'm wondering about this URL because see how it's got like some properties in it here? And I'm wondering if this is like actually a valid URL. Let me put it in a window and see. Do you see how that switched when I put it in there? I'm feeling like they're doing like a redirect here. So like the one URL goes to another one. So let me try copying this one and try that. Oh, this will also need a width. Let's try that. Ah, there we go. You were perfect. The only thing you were missing was a width property. So technically it was 54 high, but 0 wide. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's there, but it's like hidden. I see you got the 2 column. Nice. Good work. Let's see, who have we got? Tado. Let's take a look. Hey, look at this. This is looking great. Nice, nice. Very colorful. Cool. So it looks like you've got it working here. And maybe it's the spacing we want to look at, right? Yeah. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, I think you're all good here, Tado. The next thing I'm going to do is show how we can work on the positioning of the thing. So let's bounce back here for a minute. And then, oh, Haley? Haley? Let's take a look. Oh man, this is looking good. Guys, this is some nice work here. I asked for a 2-column. You even gave me a 3-column. I couldn't be happier. All right, let's see why this image is giving us some trouble. Oh, I see you even got the font awesome in there. Right? Nice, nice. Okay, so we've got our div right here. That looks pretty good. Let's go to the CSS. This looks good. The first thing I will do is just double check this URL and make sure it actually loads something. Because sometimes they play tricks on you, you know? They'll do redirects. Okay, this is looking good. All right, great. So that looks good. Oh, typo. Width. There we go. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Let's see, have we got everything else good in here? I'm wondering, oh, there's a typo here in background. I was wondering why it was repeating there. Background repeat. There we go. No problem. All right, that's all looking pretty good, guys. So I'll bounce out of those for now, because I think the next thing we should look at is how can we position this thing? So I'll show you what I usually would do and why it won't work. So a little rule of thumb that you should get used to is that if you have the option, you should use padding rather than margin. Margins are very temperamental. They will break your responsive. So, but paddings are a lot more predictable because of this little CSS reset we put in at the top here. Remember way back when, I think it's the first thing we did, we made this box sizing border box. And what this means is that when you use padding, it will never try and expand outwards out of its bounding box. So it makes the padding more predictable, but if I try and use it in this case, it's not going to work. Give it a try, guys. So let's say I wanted to push my logo down a little bit, and I'm saying like, put some padding in the top, maybe like 1 EM, 1 character. Well, you can see it's kind of ignoring it, right? Nothing's really happening here. And the reason why is because, like, technically this div still has no content. It doesn't count backgrounds as content. So because there's no content, the padding has nothing to apply to, and it won't work. So in this case, we are actually better off using margin. If I switch this to a margin top, there we go. So I can pretty much do what I want if I'm using margin here. I mean, I can just do margin all the way around if I want. There we go. But I feel like my logo's looking a little too big. So let me bring this down a little bit. Something like that. Maybe this can come down a little bit too.
You put auto, okay, is the same?
With that?
If you put auto, it hate.
Outer?
Auto. To adjust in the same proportion.
If I only put one value, then it will apply
I'm
it.
talking about width and height.
Oh, down here?
Yeah, for example, if in height you put auto, is to keep the same proportion.
Sorry, I'm not catching. Outer?
Auto.
Auto? Oh, auto.
Auto.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fairly white. You might not noticed. Sorry, I can struggle with the accent sometimes. Let's give it a try. I'm not too sure about that one. That's a good question. Let's see what's up. Will it try and preserve it? No, it doesn't seem like it. That would be a nice tip. But yeah, I'm feeling like this is in pretty good shape here. Not too bad. Let's check my responsive, see if it's still working okay. All right, this is looking pretty good. One little small problem I noticed down here on my last item, when the responsive kicks in, it's pretty tight to the bottom there, right? So probably I should put a little bit of spacing in here, but I only want that spacing to be there when the thing triggers the breakpoint. So I can probably do that in the media query. There is one place in here where we're specifically targeting the last item in the navigation. Do you guys remember which selector? It's a little bit fancy, but we're using a particular selector for the last item in the nav. Take a look, and I bet you're going to see a selector that has kind of a weird colon in it. There we go. Last child. So we call this a pseudo selector here. And it allows us to get really specific on what we're trying to target. So if I wanted to put a little bit of extra space underneath that link when the thing, stacks, I could use this same selector here. So maybe I'll copy it. And I can go to my media query and put it in here as well. But in this case, instead of the padding right, I'm going to switch it to maybe like a margin bottom. Something like, something like that. No, stop. I'm trying to tab, but it's like triggering the, here, let me just do it like that. There we go. Let's see what happens with that. There we go. So now I've got a little bit of extra space on the bottom when the responsive kicks in. Those little pseudo selectors can be super helpful for us. So what do you think, guys? Pretty good so far, right? There's one more little thing we should probably do here. I was mentioning about accessibility, and because our little image here has no content inside of it, it won't show up for a screen reader. Now that could be a problem because if we want to turn this into a link, like you probably would expect to click on this and go back home, right? Then we should make sure that it's an option in the screen reader. There is an easy way to do it. Ordinarily, if we were using the image tag, we would use the alt attribute to describe the content. So it would look like something like, something like this, right? But because it's a div rather than an image, we can't really do that, but what we can do is title. So anytime you're using this background image technique, for accessibility, you can stick in an attribute called title to describe what it is. right? So then the person who's coming to this, who's using like assistive software, will be able to know what's going on. Okay. Let me double check the helpline here. Looks like we're still in pretty good shape there. Is that working out for you guys? Everybody's with me? So it's a simple technique, but it's useful in so many different places. So like anywhere that you need to do something like an avatar picture or an icon, something like that. I saw some of you guys had put in like an icon on the right here, maybe for a shopping cart or the little gear for settings, things like that. This technique works pretty good for you. So I think maybe the next thing I should tackle is like 2-column. How come I don't have my 2-column in here? So here's what here's something I would suggest that you make a plan to do. In your CSS, there's a couple of styles that I will almost always make. Now let me just go up here a little bit. And so for instance, right here, the nav, we set the display to flex, and this is what caused our things to go in side by side rather than stacking on top of each other. So technically, we would call this a row. So if I can sketch that out, a row is where we're trying to put our elements side by side. A column is when we're trying to put them on top of each other here. And you saw like when our responsive kicks in, we're basically switching between row and column here. Now, as we get further down our page and we want to start like carving this page up and making columns and so forth, you can actually explicitly have a couple of classes ready for doing that. So here's what I'd say. I'm going to go up here, and I'm just going to make a class called column, right? And to make a column, you're going to set display to flex, flex direction to, anybody? Don't leave me hanging. Column. I'm going to go column. There we go. But to your point, the very next one I'm going to make is going to set the display to flex and the flex direction to column. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because like in lab 1 we talked about the box model and how everything on your screen is a box basically. A text field's a box, an image is a box, a background is a box, always a box. So if you have both a row and a column class, you can eventually make every layout you would ever want to do. Because it is always columns inside of rows, rows inside of columns. You see where I'm going with this? You know, if everything's a box, well, they're only ever going to be like this or like this, right? So the whole trick is to like plan it out. Let me show you what I want us to work on. I put a little link for you in the helpful resources down here, the material list guide. If I click through to that, this is the one I've been telling you guys about, the material design documents. These are amazing. You know, like they're so detailed and really well thought out. And so if we scroll down a little bit here, they sort of go into this idea of the list view. So I think we should build one of these because this is like probably the most commonly used screen that you see in a mobile app. And I really want you guys to get used to the idea of thinking mobile first. Because like by now, the amount of traffic being done through mobile devices has actually vastly exceeded desktop. That happened a few years ago. So primarily, you know, you're going to work on the mobile version of things. And then if the person is coming on desktop, you're figuring out what to do with the extra space, right? So for instance, if you get into the docs a little bit further, you'll often see designs where it's like, here's the mobile view with this list over here, but then maybe there's another column beside that has more detail or nice big images or something like that. Another trick you'll see a lot in adaptive design, if you're looking at our little list view here, they always have some things in common, right? Like usually you see some kind of an image on the left, and now we know how to do nice responsive images, so that should be no problem. Then you typically will see inside of it maybe a 2-line of text, where this one is a little bit bolder, and then this one is like a secondary line of text. And then sometimes they leave it at that. Other times you'll see something like another little action point over here. Could be a link, or it could be like a little icon to click on. So if we're looking at that, well, what I'm seeing is this. Here's my box, right? So I know my box model. It's a row. And we just made a CSS class that gives us rows, you know? What about inside of here, though? What's that? Column, right? So what we end up with is a row on the outside, and inside of it, we're putting a column. And now we've got a CSS class for columns, right? So that's why I say, like, it alternates. You'll notice this pattern. It's like, oh, I just made a row. I bet I'm going to make a column inside of there. Inside of my column, I bet I'm going to make a row. Pretty cool, right? So we're actually gonna make one of these, and we'll see if we can, you know, how close we can get to this little styling guide that we have here. That'll be pretty good. So I thought it would be useful to divide up my page into a 2-column like this, because I could use one of my columns for a list view like this, and I could use the other column for, you know, desktop content. Like maybe there's a more detailed view. In the other lab, I was showing you guys like the Transformers example, where it's like, here's today's Transformer battles, but then to the right, there's information, no, to the other side, there's information about Bumblebee with like a nice big image about Bumblebee. If I'm on the mobile, I'm just gonna get rid of that second column there, because technically, like, yeah, I could make it so that, you know, when I click on one of those battles, then it takes me to the image of Bumblebee kind of thing. So, but since I'm on desktop, why not show it to them right away? We've got the whole screen to use. So, question? Let's take a look. I swear it's going to be okay. Okay. You know what? If you're going to have an error, have a big one. Wait, hold on. Did I close my professor mode? Nope, here we go. Sorry. Okay, is it Rashid? Okay, let's check it out. And I bet it's something very small. So the yeah. I'm going to make a bet that you are missing a closing curly brace. That is my bet. Let's take a look. So this one looks okay. Now here's a little trick you can do, Rashid. if you're wondering if that has happened, see these little arrows? If you click them, it will only be able to shrink if it's got a closing. So you can go down these little arrows here, clicking, and if you're missing a closing somewhere, oh, look at this. Row. Hey-yo. That's it. Yeah. Those little arrows are a really handy little trick there. I will thank you for participating in my demonstration of the little arrows. We planned this, guys. I told her before class, just get rid of a curly brace. We're going to show people how to find that. Okay. So I've got my, oh, good. Somebody found their thing already. Awesome. Okay, so I've got a row and I've got a column here. So let's see if I can make use of it. Here's my section where my body starts kicking in, my body content here. So typically, I'm going to start off with a column. You know? Because like, if you look at my overall page here, you're usually going to start off stacking things on top of each other, aren't you? We've got our menu here stacking up on top of the body. So now that I've got my column, I can think about like putting a row inside my column. If I do that, then my two pieces of content here should go side by side. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see what Vince has going on here. Mm-hmm. No, this looks good. Yeah. Let's go in the inspector here. So for some of you guys, you might have already figured this stuff out. Might be a bit of review for you. Yep, look at that. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Yep. So if I click on here, and then if I click on section, yep, that looks good. So you see, this is exactly what I'm driving for here. The section has the display set to flex right here. If you don't specify the flex direction, it defaults to row. So we don't have like a flex direction in here, but that's okay because it's automatically set to row here. So what I'm suggesting you might want to do, Vince, is make a class for the column and a class for the row, because you're probably going to want to use them all over the place. Yeah. So, because there's two ways you could go, right? You could just target the section itself and turn on display flex, and that would totally work. But if you want to be able to use that throughout your page, we can make dedicated classes for them. Yeah. But this is great. It's pretty nice with the, actually, were you guys using the switch? Yeah. Oh man, I wanted to take a look at it. Yeah. Oh man, I'm jealous. How'd you get your hands on that, man? It's sold out everywhere. All right. So here's what I would do, guys. Inside my section here, instead of applying anything directly to these divs, what I might do is put a div around them, right? And give it a class using that row we just created. So let me make sure I close it as well. And if I want to be fancy here, let me tab this over. Tab this over. Oh my goodness. You see my CSS? You see what I did here? Oh. I kept saying column, so I typed column. but it's row, right? So I mean, you don't have to do it this way, right? Like you could just write selectors for whatever piece of your page you want, and then put in the flex properties that you want. But it's probably easier for you to just have some multi-purpose classes that you can drop in and use whenever you want, you know? All right, all right. This is looking pretty good. So you guys fairly comfortable with what we've done there? Yeah. Let's see. Which line are you looking at there, Vince? Mm-hmm.
Line right after the div class column spacer. I added in the row that you just put now.
Uh-huh. So right here, let's take a look at column spacer. Oh, I see. That's cool. It just had some padding. That's neat. So let's look and see. Yeah, here we go. So here's what I'm suggesting there, Vince. And you can actually, let's see here. So here's what you can do. See how you've targeted section itself? Here's what we could do. We could remove that. And then in section here, you can use your class. Just like that. Let's see, do we have a row? Oh, and right here, this should be row. That's my bad. That was my typo. Yeah. So now we're not directly targeting section, which means that we can actually take this class and use it anywhere we want, and it'll automatically turn it into a row. This is good. You guys are definitely getting off to a good start with responsive. I'll tell you something. It's a lot easier to learn responsive design from the beginning. If you've been making pages for a while and not using responsive, it's a lot harder then because you're so used to the usual ways.
I've been using tables my life long when I was.
Oh, that was my situation. Yeah. I miss tables, dude. So they still use them for emails. Yeah, it was so simple. Chop it all up, good to go. Now everything is all like liquid layout. It's looking nice. Yeah, question?
I did the row, class row.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I add the columns.
Let's check it out. Let's take a look. Shoot it over to me.
Oh, I did.
Oh, great. That's let me jive in there. It's Sam? Is it? Oh, Samantha, right? Yeah, got it. I'm slowly getting to know you guys. So your column disappeared down in the body here. Okay, let's see why that is. So looking in the HTML. Oh, I think I see what's up. This is fine, what you've done here. This is going to set it to column on the outside, then on the inside. Let's take a look. Oh, I feel so bad now. Like, I have stumbled so many people. This should be row. Yeah, you did the same thing I did. So if you guys are experiencing a problem, just double check that your row class here is set to row. It's on me. I did it. But if in all fairness, if I jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? I appreciate your loyalty. There we go. So that gets you back where you want to be, I think. Does it? Let's see here. I'm just going to take a quick look at your HTML while I'm in here. Let's see. Oh, okay. So let me show you something. Everybody should take note of this, because the way it works with the Flexbox, the Flex affects all of the immediate children of the parent here. So what's happening is your H3 is picking up row. So here it's going to be the first item in the row. Then your paragraph is going to be the second one. So if we want to keep them grouped together, here's what we do. Throw a div around them. Just like this. Do you see? And if we really want to be explicit about this, now we could even say class equals column. Because they are, aren't they? We want the H3 to be above our paragraph. Let's work our way a little further here, because I feel like we might be missing something. There we go. And then this one is closing this one. Great. Aha. So you have a little extra closing div here in line 20, I would say. So let's move that out of there. Nope. Stop being helpful, editor. There we go. Hey. And there you go. Yeah. So there's one more little helpful thing that I use sometimes. If you click this little arrow on the top of your HTML box, there's a little tidy HTML option. And if you click it, it does a pretty good job of like doing all the indenting for you. Yeah. It'll make it obvious if something's not closed or whatever. So that's pretty good. This is looking good. And you're right, pets are important family members. Or wait a minute, they're important family members. I see what you're doing there. You're going to put a meme in there? I get it. Okay, cool. Just before I do a couple more debugs here, just want to see why mine are... Oh, they are. It's okay. With the chat window up, I couldn't tell they were separated there. So, yeah. So this is... I'm in pretty good shape here. So let me take a quick look. And I would really encourage you guys, as I'm doing these quick debugs here, follow along. See if you can find it before I do, right? Like, learning to debug is half of the skill in this. And like some people just have a really good eye for debugging. I've got some of my fourth semesters now that they will often, I have one student, Nari, and she will often see the problem before I do. She may not know the fix, but she sees the problem, you know? So let's try one more here. Sorry, I've lost track. Who should I be looking at? Mary? Or Marizanin? Mariana. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is looking good. And let's check down here at the columns. Okay. Okay. So it looks like, yeah, basically looks like a one column. Oh, and then down here in the deals area here, this looks like it is set to row, but we might want to put some extra divs in there. Yeah. So I'm guessing you want like deals to be above Okay, let's try a couple of things. Let's take a look. Okay. Oh, further down. Here we go. Yes, okay, so because this div right here is the parent and is set to row, right now your H2 is a child and your image is a child and the paragraph is a child. So it's going to try and put them side by side. So if we want to combine them, we can pretty easily do it by putting a div around them. So for instance, if I want the image underneath of the H2, I could do it like this. Right? Because now the div is the child. And if I want to make sure that they'll go on top of each other, I can use my brand new column class as well. So let's take a look. Let's see what we got. Okay, that's starting to work, right? So now we have a 2-column layout basically, where this is in one div, and then this is a separate, probably paragraph tag. If we want this paragraph underneath of there, we can put it inside of our column div. Let's try. Yeah, here we go. So let's grab this paragraph here, and we'll put it in the column because we want it going vertically underneath. There we go. So it is working, right? And it's trying to take up the full width of the column. So let's think about it. If we keep going down, you have some more content. And if you want, you could probably make it a second column. So we've got this Let's Celebrate section. So if we're planing it out a little bit, and I will tell you, like, I will often do little sketches in my sketchbook to figure out how I'm going to make these column emeralds. So here's what we got. Here's your content area. And the section itself is going to be set to column. So they're going like this. Now we've got a row inside of there. And we've got this one set to column as well. So really what we need to do is take that Let's Celebrate section, and we want to get it up here, don't we? Right in this area. And then you'll have like a nice 2-column, and it won't be so super wide. So let's see if we can do that. We're going to have a column on the outside, and then row on the inside, and then 2 columns. It's gotten so messy, but I think you know what I mean, right? So it's going to be like column, row, column. Let's give it a try here. So let's see. So here's the outer one, the outer column. And then here's row. And then here's column. So that's exactly what we want. So I'm going to hit the little arrow here and just shrink that closed, so I don't mistakenly grab and copy some of that stuff that's okay. And we're going to basically take this whole section down here. So we'll take your H2 and all of this stuff down here. Let's see. Yeah, let's take this whole little chunk here, all the content. I'm going to cut it out of there. And then in here, I'm going to make another div, set to column. And I'll put your content in there. I feel like I might have a little extra closing div in there, but this is closer, right? Like this is a lot closer to what we want. And I like this too because if you're thinking ahead responsively a little bit, you can imagine like you could make a media query to stack these. So when the screen starts getting small, they'll pop on top of each other rather than like shrinking so much. So let me give you a fork of this, kind of compare it to what you've got. It takes a little practice to plan these out, but you're off to an excellent start. Mariana, right? Mariana. There we go. No problem. And let's take a quick look at Lentizami. I'm sorry, I'm butchering everyone's name, I know. Oh, okay, it's Leila, right, Leila. Let's take a look. Ah, nice, you've got your little image in there, that's working. Okay. So it looks like we could turn this into a 2-column here. Let's give it a try. So let's take a look. We've got, oh man, I'm the worst. Okay, I think I made every single person in this class destroy their layout with this. This should be row. I am going to be paying for that. When Devin looks at the stream, she's going to be like, Tim. Okay, so let's take a look in the HTML. Maybe I can close the JavaScript. We're not using that today. Okay, heading down in here. I'm going to shrink up your nav here and close it, just so I don't accidentally break anything in there. And then let's see. Okay, so we got an H1. Ah, okay. Okay, so we'll leave the H1 alone as well, because it's, you know, it's on its own. It's doing what we want. So it's basically starting at the section here. So here's what I'm saying. You could put in a class that will make this a column. All right? So on your outer element, typically you're going to start off with making it a column so that things go on top of each other. And then when we go inside, the next thing we'll use is a row so we can get them side by side. So let's see if we can do that. We've got this div here. Now one thing I'm noticing here, Layla, you notice on line 32, there's no little like arrow here. When you see that, it means that your div probably is not closed. It's missing the /div that should go with it. So there may be something to look at there. So you got that, then we got image, H2, another image. Ah, so here's the start of another div, and it looks like that first one should probably be closed right here. There we go, now we have the little arrow. So let me shrink that one up. And then let's also see if this one shrinks up okay. Here we go. So I would say definitely make use of those little arrows, right? Because this is a lot easier to look at, don't you think? Now we're just looking at like two divs. And these two divs are inside a column. So yeah, they're going to go on top of each other. If we want to put them beside, let's put a div around it that we set to row. So it'll look like this. This is going to work totally good. Div class equals row. And I think we should see, hey-o. Isn't that nice? It's looking much better. Now, what you might do is just like work with your fonts a little bit. Maybe bring in like a custom font would be good. So let me give you a fork of this one. I think the only like actual change we made was putting in that closing for the first div. And then we put a row div around your two pieces of content. So not too much change there. There you go. Another satisfied customer. Yang chiffon? Let's take a look. Oh yes, this one. I love it. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah? Oh, in the nav? Okay. All right. Let's start off looking at your columns down here, your columns and rows, and see if we can figure that one out. So for now, I will close the nav and just shrink that one up. And let's see. So we've got one div here. Great. Interesting. So you have a section inside your section. Yeah, something interesting there. Okay, let me close this and see. And then images. Okay, let's play in this a little bit. So I think we were wanting to do like one column here, and then this column over here should have the images like a on the bottom. Okay. Okay. So I think we should first of all probably fix this section in a section here. Yeah, because notice line 17 there. There's no closing arrow, which makes me think this guy maybe just got pasted in there or something. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's try this. Let's remove this one. Oh, it's all fixed. That's what I'm talking about. Yay! You've just got a little extra section opening. Yeah, other than that, it's perfect. Whew! I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. I thought it was gonna get crazy, but that's actually pretty easy. Uh-huh. For the nav?
You can see over here. You see a pen and when you click over here,
In the CSS? Okay, let's take a look. Oh, okay. So the reason why that's happening is because an ID can only be used once. Yeah, it's for any kind of like element that there should only be one in the page. Like let's say you have a store and you've got a big button to buy. That should probably be an ID. So what we can do is change this. Yeah. Like you could do it by making it like logo 2 or something like that. And then in your HTML, so where did you want to put the second one? Oh, okay. So then you could just go like div id equals logo 2. That would be pretty close. And then if you want, you can adjust the size of them. Yeah, yeah, no problem. It's looking good. Where was I? Let's see. We looked at that one. We looked at that one. Looked at that one. Oh, Sviatkov. Is this Alex? Yeah. Let's check it out.
Toyota Corolla, like this title, a little bit closer to Lola?
That is a really good question.
I tried like a little for it.
Yeah, so like that's actually a really important question because in responsive, you really never, how can I put it? Like you work with ratios more or less. So I would look at that question and say like, if I want to move this closer over here, what I really need to think about is putting more space in here. And then it will automatically move over. So we could use one of those little flex spans. If we put a flex span in after this and before this link, then it should expand and cause this to move over. Now we may see those get a little bit closer too, but it should do a pretty good job at dividing up the space so that that doesn't happen. So let's give it a try. Let's see if we can do it with a flex span. Do you remember if you have a flex span in your CSS? Yeah, we do. Oh, but this will be a problem. It should be a whole number, and it should be more than 1, right? Because if you want it to grow, so you could go with like 2, would work pretty good. So let's put one of those in right after your Toyota Corolla here. Maybe just with a span. Class equals flex span. Let's give that a try. You do it as a div. There we go. Let's see here. There's something else in here giving us an issue. Oh, I think I see what's going on. No, actually. I thought maybe this div was not closed, but it looks like it is. So that's okay. Oh, there's 2 flex spans in here. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try removing this second one here, Alex, because they may both be trying to take up the space. Ugh. It's giving me some hassle. Oh, there's one down here. There's something else going on. Like there's some, oh. I wonder if this image, because there's some kind of large element I'm not seeing. Because see how we're getting this like side scrolling here? Something in here is forcing that wide. Let's see if we can find it in the inspector. doesn't seem like it's the nav causing it. That looks about the right value. Oh, it's this section, I think. No, maybe not. Oh, what am I missing? Something funny is going on here. Okay, let's try removing this out of here first off. This looks fine. I don't see any problems there. I don't think this anchor is the problem, but let me just remove it temporarily. Shrink this. I think, you know what? I think it is some other style here, man. There's some other style causing you some trouble. Let's see if we can find it. So I'm looking in the inspector at the properties to see if I can figure that out. Oh, okay. You got some mad padding. So you have 320 pixels of padding on there, right? So what's happening is, like, even though the flex span's in there, there's no room for it to expand. So let's kill that padding, and then we'll let the flex box itself determine the spacing, and then it should get pretty responsive. So let's find that padding here. I'm guessing it's, oh man, it's right in front of my face. This one right here. So 20 EM, I'm betting comes out to like 300 something pixels. So let's kill that. Ah, here we go. Okay. So now we've got something going on. So I think now, if we put in a flex span, there we go. So you see how that works, right? It's like, it's taking all the space it can, so it's squishing the other things over. So now if you wanted, you could maybe go in and target this one and give it like 1 or 2 padding on the left. That would be okay. So basically what I'm driving to, use your padding for small little adjustments, but get your layout itself to be calculated for you by using the Flexbox. Yeah.
My experiment.
Yeah, you know, it's good. It's good to mess around. Let me, I want to see if I do one more thing here. Nav. Let me find the selector for the nav. Right here. What about space around? Well, I'm going to let you chew on that for a little bit, Alex. I should probably move on, but let me give you a fork of how it is right now, because I think that's going to get you closer to what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to come back to debugs in just a second. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to you yet, but I want to make like a small little list item here, because we're going to need that moving forward. We're going to basically learn how to make one of them. and then use that as a pattern to create as many list items as we need using just a little bit of JavaScript. So we're not going to do a ton of JavaScript in this semester, but a little bit will be good for you. Okay? So let's start off just making one. And to do it,
Sorry, Sam, could you
yeah.
please resend it? Because I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
I didn't get it.
Oh, really? Here. Maybe I didn't fork. Let me try again. Here we go. I'm spelling it wrong, aren't I? Okay, whatever. Your name is Alex now. Sorry, man.
No, it's okay.
Should be this one here. Nice. I see some people are solving their own problem. That's great. Okay. No problem. So I'm going to work over here in my left-hand column here. And I'm going to see if I can just make like a simple little list item. So we're basically after something like this. So I'm going to use my row class again and just get my 3 items in there. And then I'll go inside of it and probably work with the column a little bit inside of one of these. So let's give it a try. Now here's the trick. We're going to go inside the row and make a div, which is also a row. We're putting a row in our row this time. And then I'll put like 3 little placeholders inside of here for the things that I'm trying to build. So maybe right here, I'll make like a div that's going to be my icon. So I'll give it a class called icon. You can call it whatever you like. Now we don't see anything yet because it doesn't have any content. But if I go ahead and just put a little placeholder in here, you see it starts showing up for us. I'll put another little div, and this one is going to be for my my little updates. So I'll say class equals updates. Now I think you start to see my issue here. See how they are going side by side, so they're doing what they're supposed to. But you see how they're like jamming in on the side here? Well, I wanted them to be above this like descriptive text here. Anybody can guess how I can take these guys and make them above this other text here? So right now, I'm building this little list item here. It's going to be something kind of like this. What I want is that my list items will go above this text here, but right now they're going in beside it.
Changing the direction of the legs.
Yeah. You got the right idea. We have to put a column inside of here. Yeah. Let's give it a try. You'll see in 1 second here how this can work. So right here, div class equals column right here. And so what do I want to be inside of my column? Well, I want this row to be in my column, right here. And I want this div to be in my column. So I close my div after that. I'm pretty sure. There we go. It's a little tricky, right? You know, it takes a little bit of practice to get good with this. So what have we got here? Let's here. Let me erase that sketch, and we will look at what we have. Man, this is a good eraser. We got new erasers, guys. It's exciting to me. So here's our page. Right? And what do we have? So the outer page is set to column so that things stack up on top of each other. Right? Then inside, we have one that is set to row so that things go beside each other. This gave us our two columns. So here's our two columns, right? Now inside of this left one, we've got another div, which is set to column. Inside of this is a row, which is becoming my little list item. And then the descriptive text is underneath because it's inside column. You know, I know it's a little weird when you first look at it, but if you sort of get how that's working, with a little bit of practice, like the first time you do it, yeah, it's like seems kind of weird. But like to be fair, I usually plan these just with paper, you know? I sit down with my sketchbook. I'm thinking of the design I want, and I'm doing it as a little sketch first before I go in and start doing this stuff. So trust me, man, by the time you've done this like 10 times, you'll be like, row, column. It's like super easy for you. I want one more thing in my little list item here, which will be like a link. Looking good. Maybe I can put one more class on this with a border just so we can see how this is working. I'm just going to make a little simple all-purpose helper class here. I'll just call it red. And I'll say border 1 pixel solid red. Now I'm sure you guys know, but keep in mind that you can always put more than one class on a div. So right here, let me add red, just so we can see what we're doing. Okay. So, question for you. Can you give yourself an icon? Could you make a little image show up? It's the same thing as what we did here. Let's look at those little design docs again, just to remind ourselves of what we're working on. Oh my God, I just closed it. Hold on. Hold on. Should close some tabs before I crash. So all these docs are at Material IO right here. And I'll go to the guidelines, design guidelines. And then the one we're looking at is called a list right here. Yeah. So let's see. So we've got this little picture of a person over here. Maybe I can just try and get that in there first. So let's see here. Actually, do they give us the size they like to see? I believe they get as specific as like what size those images should be and some things like that. But I'm guessing it's probably around like 50 pixels, somewhere around there. I'll just get it showing up in there. And then I can always go back and like tweak it if I want to be really strict with the guideline. Okay, so we've got this class called icon that we've already applied to it. So let's go and make a icon for ourselves. Icon. So let's see, probably first of all we should set some width and height, right? Because otherwise nothing we do is gonna be visible. So let's go and set a width, and I'll say like 50 pixels, height, 50 pixels. Okay, cool. It's starting to take shape a little bit here. Now, I could just put inside of icon here, like my background URL that I want to use. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm probably going to want to use icons in lots of places, right? So why don't I make a second class that sets the background property for this particular icon? Let's give it a try. You'll see what I'm going for here. So let's make another one. I'll call it like avatar. Oh, yes, you had a question. Okay. This one here, Rashid? Uh-huh. And what seems to be the problem? This is looking pretty good.
I think I need some space where, left the pigment and the paragraph there is too much to the point.
Oh, on the left over here. Ah, good question. So I noticed a technique that a couple people were using where they created a class called column spacer, like this. And then in that one, class. So we need a little dot. And then in here, they went like padding, maybe 3 EM would be good. So if you apply this to, oh, you have one. There you go. I think you had it, but you didn't have it in the CSS. Yeah. So if you just add that into your CSS, then you will be adding some nice padding. Yeah, sure. I fork anytime. And then see Vince had something there. Take a look at this one. I do want to get this one list item, but oh, no problem. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. So here's what I think we want to do, Vince. We're going to take this little chunk right here that's sticking beside, and we're going to make it go above. So it will temporarily push your content down here, but then if you want, you can always just like copy paste in the HTML to bring your content to the top again. Oh, it's let's take a look. Here we go. Oh, I think I see what's up. This one needs a closing div. Right there. Because that will close this row, right? Oh, that's it. That's all you need. A little closing div. And this one closes the row. Yeah. I made a separate class, and I just called it red, which I see you have here. So then right in here, you can just add it in. Because you can give multiple... Whoop. Yeah. Although I'm looking at this and I'm seeing, I think maybe the closing for your column might be in the wrong place because we've lost our 2-column layout here. Let me see if I can find that. So this one closes that. Yeah, I think I know what's happening here. Here? There it is. So it wasn't that, basically your closing div was in the wrong place. Yeah, you had it there, but it was just a little too high up. Yeah, that should put you in good shape there. I added it right after this little chunk here about television. So right here, for me it's line 28. Okay, can you save and I'll refresh and we'll take a look. It's okay if this, what we're doing now, like working with layout like this, if it takes a little time, it is worth it. Because like, once you get this stuff down, your life is gonna get so much easier moving forward. What you don't want is to be moving on to like the next semester and, you know, still trying to get a handle on this. So I'm okay with spending a bit of time on it. Let's see here. Now it looks to me like it's probably the HTML here, so. Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is close this row. The reason it's putting the red border around the whole thing is because this row is not closed. Now once we close it, yeah, there you go. You just need a little closing div before your H2 there. Yep, and then you're good. So, I mean, we're making a list item, but you guys can probably imagine we can use this technique for making like a little sub-navigation if you wanted, or maybe a little announcement like latest news or something like that. So, got something? All right, let's take a look. There we go. Okay. You know, I think you're in pretty good shape here. It just looks like this one is still set to column rather than row. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Sorry that happened. It's funny, like, with this stuff, one small little thing can make the whole thing, like, look terrible, but I guarantee you it's not that bad. So I think the nav is fine, so I'll shrink that one. So here we go. Let's see. Here's our first row. That looks good. And then we've got a column. Yeah, that looks good. And then this one is closed there. That looks good to me. I'm wondering why these guys are not picking up the row. Oh my God, I bet you I know what it is. You're gonna kill me. Are you ready to kill me? Everyone's ready, right? Who wants to bet on what this is? I guarantee I know what it is. I made a typo when I was creating my row, and it's just been ruining everybody. Oh, you know what? I think you actually don't have a row in your CSS. Yeah, I don't see it. Do you? Okay, let's get a row in there. So here's what you need. Row. And you're going to say display flex, just like this. And you're going to set the flex direction to row. And in addition to that, we also have one called column, just like this. It's almost the same, but it has the opposite direction. There you go. And then everything's perfect. Oh, over here? Yeah, I'm still working on that. In here? What are you hoping to do? It looks even to me. Are you hoping to put some extra space in to move some of them over? Uh-huh. Oh, I see. Might be you have some extra padding? Let's take a look. We can look, whoa, what? What is going on? I don't even know how you did that. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Maybe I'll look at that later. Oh, you know what I think is going on? I think you have an anchor tag that is not closed somewhere. So it's treating all your text as a button. Yeah, we'll find that. So you know what? Let me give you a fork of this as it is right now. Little things like spacing, we can work that out. But otherwise, your columns and rows are pretty good. And I really want to get this one list item done. How am I doing for time, guys? And so how much time do I have left? Anybody? How much time is remaining? Anybody? Anybody? I do not totally remember. I mean, we can just hang out if you guys don't want to leave. Anybody knows? Anybody knows what time this is finishing? 3:15, and it's okay. We're still doing good. Great, cool. We're in decent shape. We'll probably be able to do a couple more because I saw a couple more people asking for debugs. But let me just finish this little list item first, and then we'll. I'm good. Well, you know what? You either get breaks or you get debugging. One or the other. This isn't a party. All right, but we're almost done. Let me just finish up what I want to do in this list item, and then we'll be in a really good shape for the next class here. So I've got my little class called icon. Right now, it just has a width and height. Now here's what I want to do. Yep. Sorry about that. Let me make a fork. I got distracted by all this talk of breaks. Oh, I did. Did this one? Yeah. Okay. So here's what I wanted to get across here. I'm going to have one style that just sets the size of my icon here. I'll make a second style that I will use for things like the background property, right? Because then, like, anytime I want to use an icon, I can put the icon style on it. But if I want a different picture, like, you know, I don't know, the gear or something like that, I can have a separate class for that. So let's find a picture of an attractive person. Tom Cruise, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's doing all right, right? Ladies, anyone? Tom Cruise? I don't know. He's getting up there. But whatever. Let's get him in his prime here. So let's grab this image, and I like the fact that it's HTTPS, right? So let me grab Mr. Tom Cruise here, not literally, and head on back here, and I'll set a background using the URL. Drop that in there. Okay, quick quiz. What other two properties should I probably be setting in here? Background. Take a look at what we did. Yeah, position would be one. And what value? Yeah, center makes sense, right? Avatar picture, you probably want it centered. What about, there's another one. Background sizing. And I'm going to go with cover. Oh, cover. There we go. One more thing if I want to be safe. Background repeat. Yeah. No repeat. There we go. So this looks pretty good. So then back here, inside this little class here, I want it to be icon, and I want to use my avatar. Hey, what am I missing here? Oh, background size, not sizing. There we go. There's Tom. So now I can remove the little word in here. Get rid of that. Now you'll notice that Google does this thing a lot where they use round images here. So the way to do that, if you want to, they use it all the time. It's a CSS3 feature where you can set the border radius. So let's give it a try here. Trying to remember the property. What is it? 100%? Is it? I think. Yeah, there you go. Now he looks dreamy. You can even do a little bit of box shadow on there if you want to put like a little bit of drop shadow underneath it for some depth. But I mean, it still looks a little crappy because it's default font, and we'll probably be getting rid of this red border. But it's starting to shape up, right? Like it's starting to be a proper list item. Oh, let me send it again. Maybe I didn't save. Hold on. Save. Sorry about that. Let's try again. You know why? Because I didn't put a space between your name and Oh, God. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so we're going to get a little more specific here, where I've got the updates. If we look at our little design here, we've got like 2 lines of text in here. So when I want to stack something on top of another thing, it's going to be a column. So I'm going to put a column inside of this part of my row. Let's do it. Now, technically, I could probably get away with not putting a column in there because here, let me show you. Let me show you what I mean here. Inside of this div, maybe I'll use like a little heading. And if I put a little paragraph underneath of it, they'll automatically go on top of each other here, right? Just because they both have display block, like headings and paragraphs automatically stack on top of each other. But I'm going to use my column anyway because I might want to make some refinements to that vertical layout. And the Flexbox gives me lots of options like justify content, align items, and things like that. So I will actually go into this div and say column. So we won't really see too much of a change yet, but I'm thinking I've probably got a style on my H3s that's like pushing it over there. Let me go with like an H4. Yeah, there you go. Getting closer, right? And then the last one is that we've got the link here. Okay. Take a quick look at my inspector. Just look around here. Yeah. Looks pretty good. But you see how it like stops right here? And I've got this extra space left over here. So there's a couple ways I could deal with it. The simplest one would be to put a flex span right in here, you know? Because that will cause my link to automatically push over to the right. Let's give that a try. Let's see how that goes.
Also, the item needs padding to the right.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got a lot of adjustments to do here still. But just to get my basic layout, let me try put a flex span in here. There we go. So it's not perfect by any means, but it is roughly a list item. We need some more spacing in here. We need to pay some attention to the font. We probably need to push this guy over a little bit. But it is still going to be pretty responsive, is the thing to note here. If we grab this and we start resizing, you know? Because that flex span will just like shrink to whatever size it needs to be. So it may not look like much yet, but trust me guys, it's going to be awesome. See if you can get that little one in there. And then I would love it if, you know, after you leave, when you are working on this a little more, use your skills. Make this look nice, you know? Get your fonts looking good. Maybe figure out how you can, because you'll notice in the design here, see how they've got these little separator line? I wonder if you could figure out how to do that. That'd be cool. Border bottom. We'll do it, you know? See how close you can get to it. It will be a really good exercise for you. Okay, let me do a couple more debugs here, and we will wind things up with that. Guys, fairly good with what we've done here today. We'll proceed from this to being able to use that first little list item we've created. Once it looks good and it's how we want, I'll show you guys how you can write a little bit of script to create as many of those as you want. And even do things like change what picture is appearing inside of there. So if you think of like, take note of it the next time you're using your device, right? Like, you know, this is used everywhere. Every app you have has some kind of a list view like this, I bet. So take a look at the design of those and just kind of note for yourself. And if you're able to create that now, it's going to be a really, really good step for you. So let's do a couple debugs. Let me just close a few things so I'm not crashing here. But I must say, I'm seeing some really nice work from you guys. All right. Let's see, where were we? Oh man, where to begin? We looked at Vince's, I think.
Just posted.
Okay. I'm trying to go in order, but let's see. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna start with Tado here. If you're in there and because I'm lost of where the last one I was. So let me just start with Tado. And then we'll go from there. Nice. You got the centered up there. That looks pretty awesome. Nice, nice. We have our friendly organic salesperson here. This is looking pretty good. What seems to be the trouble? Say that one more time. Oh, this one? Oh, okay. So you want it like more centered down here? Okay. Should be able to do that. Let's see. I'm thinking. Let's see what we can do. I'm thinking about the line items property because we're in a row, and align items works on the cross axis, which would be the up and down. So let me try something here. I'll just make a separate little class, maybe right under the row here, and I'll call this one. I'll just call it align center, something like that. And I'll give it the align items center. Let's try that one. So then I'm thinking I can take this class and add it to that row, and then hopefully they will center up. Let's see. So here's our row, and I will add this new class into it, the align center. Come on. Yeah, baby. It totally worked. I'm stoked about that. That's good. Okay, and let's take a look at. Did you get that, or do you want a fork? All good? Cool. Let's take a look. Oh, the hits are coming. All right, so So now Vince, let's take a look at Vince. Do you guys have a class after this one? Okay, okay. So when you gotta go, you just let go, right? Because I don't want to get, they beat me when you don't show up on time, so. What seems to be the trouble here, Vince? Oh, okay. Yeah, that should be no problem. Let's see. So we got icon and we got avatar. Let's go over here. Look for icon. Yeah, that looks good. And then avatar. Oh, I had this problem right here. This one needs to be background size rather than sizing. But otherwise, interesting. Icon, avatar. What am I missing? Do you guys see it? It looks pretty good to me. Although I'm just noticing it doesn't seem to be, this width and height is not getting applied somehow. Oh my God, I see it, dude. You're missing the equals. Class equals in your HTML. Yeah, one little equal sign here. Oh yeah, let's see. Oh, this closing div right here, what you got is like you've opened up a column, but then you've closed it right away. So we want to take that one out of there, and we want to put that right underneath of that. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Looking good. So then, I haven't done anything yet with this little updates class that we put in here, but I would probably use that for putting in a bit of padding to create the spacing in there. You know what I mean? It's ready for you now. So let's take a look at another. Let's look at Sviatkov. Let's head down. Okay. Looks to me like a problem in the HTML, I'm thinking, because this border here, it's like collapsing right away. So that kind of makes me think that we might be missing a closing. Let's take a look. Yeah, right down here. Oh, look at this. Your row is closed right away. So that could be it. Let's try taking that out. So I'm thinking that that closing should have gone somewhere else. So let's see, here's our row. And then, row, red. Oh, right here too. See how that's closed right away in your line 51? Let's try moving that one. Actually, that looks a lot closer now. So I removed one from here. I think I removed one from here because those guys were like open and closed right away. And then you're in pretty good shape. You know, this one as well, I feel like it should go down here after this one. Let's move that. Let's move this down here. Yeah, there you go. And then let's see why your avatar isn't showing up. So in here we've got icon. Let's take a look at your CSS. Yep, yep, CSS looks good on that. And then right here, let's give it the class called avatar. There we go. And I think you should see, yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm going to fork this and send it to you. There may be a couple other little things in there, but this is getting pretty close. Did I spell it right? Yeah, I'm getting it. There we go. And then, let's see, Haley. I forget, who's Haley again? Oh, Haley, sorry. Yeah, this is looking good.
On my screen, I have a gap between the one picture and the first picture and the second picture. So I can see the difference on mine and then the computer. So I'll send you that. How can I?
So the gap is like here?
On my screen, I have a huge gap between the first and the second picture.
Okay.
So I think there's like some empty space between them. So I wanted to, but I couldn't see that on your computer.
Okay.
It looks good on your computer, but on mine.
Let me try resizing a little bit here. See what happens. If my browser will let me grab it. Come on, browser. Don't fight me. So you're okay with the list item, though? It looks like that's pretty good. Okay, well then I would say for that one, oh, yeah, because I'm also seeing this, right? Yeah, that makes me think that something is a little bit off in the HTML. Let's take a look there. So let's see, I'm going to shrink the nav so I don't mess with it. And then we've got, oh yeah?
Yeah.
Did you save it?
Yeah, I see.
Let me refresh and maybe I've got an old one. Well, I definitely see it. So there's something funny going on in here. Okay, let me take a quick look here. So I will shrink the nav because I think it's good. I will leave the heading alone. I will skip down to section. Yeah, this looks good. Okay. What about this row? If I close it? Yeah, I think that's fine. What about column here? Yeah, okay. Oh. Interesting. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yep. So just looking with them collapsed, this looks like it's your your pieces of content here, which looks right. So let's look in here, that's fine. So it's this first one that's looking weird, right? Okay, let's see what's in there. So here is our list item. That looks fine. And then looks like this one is just to apply some spacing. Yeah? What happens if I do this? Looks okay. So, it's like this paragraph right here. Oh, no, it's fine. This, I'm wondering about. Line 57?
Yeah.
It looks like maybe an extra one? No. No? Hold on. No, it's okay. It's for this column here, so that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. So it's something inside here, right here. So we've got a width and height set to that. I feel like this paragraph here is getting a style that it shouldn't have. Let's,
Actually, that one is good on my screen.
yeah?
Yeah.
Why not on mine?
But the problem is I can see the huge gap between the first pick and the second pick, but
Yeah.
I cannot see on that screen. So
But I think it's giving us some clues. If we're seeing some strange behavior here, then usually it's giving us a clue to what that problem is. Here, let me refresh here. Yeah, there's something funny going on for sure, because we've got this, there's something that's too wide somewhere, you know, because I'm getting this, and I'm really feeling like it's a clue to what the problem is that you're seeing. I just gotta find it. Are you using Chrome for your browser? Yeah. What is it? What if I do this? It's like hard to even select it. Here, let me move this. Okay. Yeah, see how that's like very restrained in size? This one. Oh. I feel like. Oh, this is it. This has some crazy margin. That's what your problem is. Yeah, you have some mad margin going on in here. Let's find it. That's the problem. So somewhere I'm betting we're going to see like a big EM number. And we probably can get rid of it now. I think that's okay, because that's just top and bottom. But somewhere in here, they're not too big, they're still small. But somewhere, that's probably okay, because it's just top. I wonder if these margins are all adding up, because that's something's inside of something else, inside of something else. Let's see if we can find it. Might be, let's take a look at both column spacer and a round space. I wonder, oh, this is missing a semicolon. I wonder, well, that didn't help us. But just for the moment, I'm going to remove this. Still having it. Okay, let's look at column spacer. Column spacer. What?
Maybe I know.
Oh, typo for me? Oh, I wonder about this.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So I see what you are shooting for, because it makes sense. You're doing a 3-column, so you're trying to do like 1/3. But when you're using the Flexbox, you don't need to do it because it will automatically calculate it. So I think that if you remove that, did that fix the gap
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
seeing?
yeah, yeah.
Ah, nice, nice. We did it. All right.
thank you.
You're welcome. So then let's see, who's next? Rashid. I hope I'm saying it right. Rashid. Rashid. Yeah, no, I'm. Okay, so is this the one? Oh, okay. Let's go here. This one here. Okay. Oh, I see. So we've got a little funniness going on over here.
I don't know, it's still showing me the other one. Let me send you one.
Okay. Now, I should just point something out, right? Because the URL that you submitted into Leaflet, that's the only one we will see. So if you have forked it and you're working in another one, we won't see it. So just be careful. Okay, just as a general caution, like make sure that you check that what you submitted.
It's the same one. To you it shows the image squeeze, but over here I fixed it. I don't know why.
Let me refresh. Here, let me do this. I'm going to go back to Leaflet. I will look you up in here so we can just be sure. Warda, right? So again, we're not worrying about these Fs, guys. they are not legitimate Fs.
This is the one I submitted when class started. Remember?
Yeah, so that's the one you should be working in.
Yeah, that's the one I worked in.
Okay, so then I'm going to open it up. So
No, but it's the same.
this is the one you've submitted, right? So if you have something else, you're going to have to like copy it and paste it into here, because otherwise we'll have no way of seeing your work. Yeah, be careful. Oop, yeah. Did that on purpose.
I just copy and paste it because
Mhm.
this is the one when the class started. Remember, you said you have to submit over here. I didn't know that I was supposed to submit the updated one, so I submitted this one. I changed this, all of the colors and the font size.
Okay, so then if you want me to look at the new stuff, then you'll need to paste it into this one that you submitted. So the easiest way to do it is go in Leaflet and go to yourself right here, and then you've got a little edit on CodePen button up top here, and if you click that, it will open the exact one that you submitted. Yeah, so go ahead and put your stuff in there. I'll give you a second. I'm glad that it came up, because sometimes people don't realize if they fork it or something, it's actually a totally new piece of work. Yeah, it's, say that again? Say that again? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like for you, it's snapped against your navigation bar.
Oh, right, because you've got that column spacer that applies some padding all around, and it's inside there, so I think the only way to change that would be to remove that column spacer. It would make the whole thing push out. Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. There we go. All right. So let's take a look at Al Pacino over here. I think we could probably find this pretty easily.
Yeah, I changed it like to 100%.
Oh, you're using percentage, eh?
Over here it shows me in the circle, but over there it shows me in a
Oh, because your height is a different value than your width. If we make them the same, then... Okay, there's something else going on here. Let's find it. I'm pretty sure we will find this. I think it is in the HTML. I'm almost positive. And it looks like it's maybe missing a closing. Let's see here. So here's our opening of this div. And it looks like it's missing a closing, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's put one right here. Closer. Right here. So this is actually missing two closings because we need a closing for this right here also. So let's put one in there. Come on. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you needed one to close this little column right here, which is your updates. And then you need one to close the whole row right here. Yeah. And then I think you're pretty good. Let me send you a fork here, and you could compare with what you got.
Didn't it change the whole layout?
Yep.
Like first mine wasn't two separate columns.
So you got a little work to do, my friend. Just what I would suggest is, first of all, just go in and start clicking those little arrows on the side to shrink your divs. If you come across one that doesn't shrink, then that's probably your issue there, yeah. Might take a little bit of looking. Let's see, there we have Lintizami. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Looks like you're in good shape here.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. All right. And then let's go to Archer. Oh God, Acorasia. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's check it out. Ooh, damn. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're saying your responsive is having an issue, right? Let's check it out. Boom. Oh, oh la la, look at this. Oh my God. It's looking pretty good, man. Ah. So basically, in a nutshell, you're going to need, now are you doing, let me look in here. Let me go to editor view. Ah, so you're doing like a hidden form element, right? Well, I'm going to let your mentor check in on that because you're doing some stuff that we haven't really covered here yet. So we'd have to take a look in it and see. I'm guessing that you're using like a hidden form element for that little hamburger button. Cool, cool. The old no JavaScript. Yeah, it's a good trick. I'm sure we can help you out with it. Yeah. See you guys. Take it easy. Have a good weekend. All right, well, I guess we're winding up here. It looks like we're in pretty good shape. Let me take a quick look at Young Chiffon. Oh, okay, Cruz is looking a little squished here. Let's check him out. Let's see. Now, we do have the right width and height. That looks good. Border radius looks good as well. So I wonder if it's maybe that we just don't have enough space in there. Let's see. Here's opening and close. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You may have just a little too much content in here. Let's try removing these two. Because I'm thinking... And then I'm also looking at this down here, this little chunk. And that looks like maybe something's not closed. See you. Uh-oh. I think we got to go. Okay, I'm going to have to take a look at it later. Yeah. But I'm sure we'll find it. It doesn't look too bad. Okay, guys, that's it. We're winding it up. I'm going to shut down the stream here. Anybody online?